Hey everyone! So today I have with me a Macintosh IIsi which is not working. So on today's video we're gonna be recapping this computer and hopefully figuring out what's wrong. So let's go to the bench and let me show you how can this computer be disassembled, which is quite straightforward, and actually you don't need tools. And let's start working on it. All right, so it's actually quite straightforward to disassemble this machine. I was quite surprised to learn how you do it. So first of all, you just press these two clips up. I'm just gonna remove this case and put it to the left. Let's remove the floppy drive. So I'll just disconnect in here, take these two clips up. And here we have the floppy drive. Second, I'm just gonna take out this clip in here and then move the power supply out like so. Let's remove the hard drive. So I'm gonna disconnect here, disconnect here. Also going to disconnect this connection. I'm gonna remove this video card. It's a Radius video card. Then we move this up, and same way this is removed. Like so. So I'm gonna put this in here. So now we just need to remove this. So to remove this, it's actually quite straightforward. Just put a clip and this moves up. And then finally we have the motherboard, which is retained by these two clips that we pull apart and then move this out, and then the motherboard comes out. And just like that, the whole computer is disassembled. All right, so finally we have the board here. Luckily for me, there was no battery leakage, which is great. I have already removed all the capacitors here, but unfortunately, while removing the capacitors, also these surface mounted capacitors failed. So I'll have to look into the schematics on what's the values for this and find some. Now I want to get this running and I don't have the capacitors with me right now, so I'm just gonna put some electrolytic ones that they will work, and then later on I will replace it once I know that everything works. Now changing the capacitors in this board is quite straightforward. Actually all the capacitors except these two are 16 volts, 47 microfarads. So as simple as that, we just need to replace 11 capacitors and we should be good to go. So we have here the RAM. There's a ROM socket, but I believe also that there's a ROM in here, the one from the computer. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so unfortunately, the video of soldering the capacitors was gone because the my phone died. But these are pretty much the capacitors that I just installed. Again, all of them are 16 volts, 47 microfarads. But I want to show a specific place in the board which is here. Actually, let me zoom in. But I think that the issue was happening. If you see these two capacitors, this one and this one here, they were actually gone. They were out. They were gone from the board. I checked the schematics. Unfortunately, there's no Apple schematics. There's these Bomark schematics. And it say that these capacitors are 10 nanofarads, this one and this one. So luckily for me, I have a Macintosh IIsi motherboard that it's pretty much empty. And I just stole some capacitors from here and place them in here, these two capacitors. So let's go ahead and assemble this computer and see if that was the problem. All right, so this is the computer assembled. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to have the board outside and to be able to turn it on because as you saw when I was disassembling it, the power supply is on top of the motherboard, but I am almost certain that this will work. This is how it looks. Now let's just turn it on. I don't even know how much RAM does it has, or if that's a great sign, or if the hard disk is gonna work. So let's see. Nice, great. Let me zoom you in so you can see better. All right, hopefully you can see. So actually the computer works. Let's just check how much RAM do we have. So we have 5 megs. So each stick is 1 meg and the computer comes with 1 meg. So it will be 5 megs, which is great. Now let's test that the machine turns off. All right, so there you have it. It's working. It's working actually quite well. It has 5 megs of RAM. I actually removed the monitor stand because I think it looks actually better without it. That's pretty much. There's some markings on the keyboard, like engraving, that I will see how can I remove or not. I think it needs retro brighting, especially on the keyboard, and maybe the case. The case is not as bad, but that's pretty much it. I'm quite happy with the machine that it's now working. I think I'm almost certain that the issue was those two small SMD capacitors, which luckily I have the board with me to get some replacements. But actually, this one turned out to be easier than what I was expecting. So that's great. All right, so I think that will be pretty much. If you like this video, please hit a like, subscribe, and if you don't, then don't. And I will see you around. Take care.